I quite honestly did not want to make a video regarding this parasite, considering the fact that everybody and their fucking mother has talked about this jackass. This isn't exactly the content I expected to start the channel with, but plenty of you had questions regarding the Life of Onion livestream series, which I am now moving to this channel along with the cringe-themed content. I'd like to start the series from the beginning, before YouTube. This tumor known as Onision has been contaminating the site since 2006, though his sociopathic attitude and narcissistic tendencies date back to before that. Let's go back to November 11th, 1985, the day this disgusting excuse of a human being named Gregory James Jackson came into the world. Sadly, I was born 15 years later, same day. Every birthday I wish it was his last so I wouldn't have to share it with someone so unlikable. Moving on, there's not much known about Greg's childhood. He claims his father was a child molester, though this hasn't been confirmed. In fact, the only criminal charges he appears to have are relating to alimony payments he had to give Greg's mother after they divorced when Greg was 3. I don't want to invalidate such a frail subject. I quite frankly have no way of knowing if it's factual or not, though Greg has been proven time to time to be a compulsive liar.
Family Guy, various live-action television shows around the world, and many movies all have offensive content in them, many making fun of horrible situations and absolutely disturbing things. It doesn't matter if you think these shows and movies are funny or not. It doesn't matter if you think they have the right to joke about what they do. The reality is, if you don't like Family Guy, if you don't like a lot of stand-up comedians, if you don't like these movies and these television shows that crack these morbid fucking jokes, then fuck you, okay? Go fuck yourself, because you're a fucking douchebag square who very few would probably want to hang out with because you're such a goddamn letdown.
So, the drawing you posted of yourself sodomizing me,
Yeah, did you like it?
no, not really.
And you morons. If you can't handle a goddamn joke, turn off the television, log offline, stop doing whatever you're fucking doing.
Drawing you posted of you raping me.
Who said it was rape?
Obviously, I didn't consent.
It was a drawing.
I'm a sensitive pussy who can't handle watching a comedy show that thrives on offensive fucking comedy.
Who said it was rape?
But if I drew a picture, or yeah, if someone drew a picture and they're a man, they drew a picture of them raping you, I'm pretty sure the internet would be outraged at that. Maybe you wouldn't, but the internet would just completely lynch them. So how is it appropriate for you to do that?
Who said it was appropriate?
But why would you do that? Why?
Because it was funny, Greg. Because it was funny and I like fucking.
There's obviously so much more regarding his lies, but I don't want to extend this video with the obvious. Before I move on to more specific dates and anecdotes, I would like to credit the Life of Onion wiki for the title of this video and the carefully chronological placement of said moments in Greg's life. As I stated in the live stream, Onision's birth name is Gregory, though he changed his name to James for reasons I am unfamiliar with. So, for this episode, I'm keeping things simple and calling him Greg. Now, regarding his mother, it is quite popularly known in the anti-Onision community that this woman is batshit crazy, as shown in Greg's videos featuring her and his constant sharing of personal shit nobody asked for, quite frankly. Greg has mentioned that his mother gave him a topless massage, though by the wording of the phrase we are unaware if he was the one topless or she was. Either way, it is quite odd to watch them interact, for people theorize some kind of incestuous undertones reveal themselves in their conversations and actions.
Good question, and I want you to be very, very honest when you answer it, because it's a very personal question, and it's not necessarily politically correct. But are you sexually attracted to your mother? And the reason I ask is because I've heard of studies where sons are naturally attracted to their mothers. They fantasize about having sex with their mothers.
Over 20 years.
Suck on mommy's booby.
Ew, it's hairy though. You're not allowed to do anything by yourself.
Very good job, Chibi. Can mommy shake your pee-pee dry?
No, I don't need to shake my penis.
Another thing I want to point out is a video interview with a high school classmate of Onision by Devon Tar-Rex. I probably pronounced that wrong. An alleged classmate that goes by Michael mentioned that his mother glorified him to the extent of believing he could do no wrong. On one occasion, Michael mentions that Greg got in trouble with the principal for emotionally cheating on a girl. I'll talk more about how he was later. As Michael walked past the principal's office, he heard Greg's mother chanting some religious songs or something along those lines. Quote, "She shows up and she starts going off about how her boy is an amazing special boy who can't do anything wrong. he's not in the wrong here. The girl's a trifling little skank. She's trying to corrupt her son. Out of nowhere, this woman starts chanting these... I don't know what it is. I'm not trying to be rude to people that are into pagan religions and such, but she starts chanting this stuff, and I mean, it's just like, he buries his hands on his face. He's sitting there looking like his life is over. You almost want to be sympathetic to him, and then you realize that he is only in this position because he put himself in this position. And his mother is chanting to the moon or whatever, trying to bail him out. During high school, according to Michael, quote, he was always the quiet, somewhat awkward kid who would have the occasionally loud burst in class over something he thought was funny, but no one else did. Teachers never really liked him for doing that, and the more they got angry with him for doing it, the more he seemed to continue to just do it. Basically, the best way to explain how he was then is how he is now, just not as intense. End quote. Michael also mentions Greg's relationship with girls. Quote, the biggest problem he has always faced in his life, it seems even now, and it was then, is that he's a massive cheater. He never seems to make true commitments to any of them because he was seeing one and not telling the other. He would follow those girls around school. He would follow them around in their personal life. Greg's narcissism and craving for attention was evident even then. Quote, he absolutely thought he was better than everyone else because he'd never tried a cigarette. He never tried smoking weed, never taken a drink of alcohol. He actually used those things as some sort of moral superiority, like he was better than everyone else. It was funny, because when he got very into this veganism thing, he would intentionally start fights with people about it. He would piss people off by going up to them. If they're having a burrito or having a hamburger or having a pepperoni pizza, anything with meat on it, he would out of nowhere start just berating them, saying like, you're exploiting the killing of animals and stuff. And people, when they're eating, they don't want to hear about it. No one wants to hear that. So they would either just leave without finishing lunch, or they'd get into an argument with him, and then he would act like he was superior because he got to them in an argument. I mean, he was always getting in trouble with teachers. He was always getting in trouble with other students. End quote.
Let me ask you something. If you murder animals on a regular basis, do you really think I give a f*** about your opinion? Do you really think I care if you want to see a comedy bit or you don't quite agree with all of my opinions when you f***ing murder f***ing animals? Today I'm going to expose how f***ing stupid most of you are by replying to your comments through video. Now, if at any point you're so offended that you're going to curl up in a ball and cry, or you somehow feel that I'm violating you by giving you my opinion or my facts as they are, by all means, there's a little yellow button to the upper right of the screen that says unsubscribe. So go ahead and click it anytime.
In the year 2000, Greg was allegedly sent to juvenile prison for physically attacking his father after he allegedly tried to choke him. In 2001, Sky, who was Greg's first wife, notices him for the first time in their high school computer class. Sky was a year younger than Greg. According to Michael, Sky was the girl that stopped Greg's constant moving on from girl to girl, and in 2003, they both started a relationship. It was in this year that he creates a website dedicated to his religion known as Seseska, which is such a stupid fucking name. This religion is a combination of beliefs of other religions, which is ironic considering his raging hate for people who believe in God. He defined it as the perfect understanding. Some of the beliefs were that the earth creates energy, and humans come from earth. Therefore, humans must protect the earth, and our bodies are shells for our souls. Greg has an obvious God complex, and he roles himself as the leader of this religion. I'm moving on to a triggering subject, and during the Life of Onion series, the concept of sexual assault or variation will be mentioned, so I recommend that if such subject triggers you, you refrain of hearing this part, or the series completely. Moving on. In 2004, Greg creates a rape prevention website. This website contains advice for what women should do in case of getting sexually assaulted or taken advantage of. He recommends that in case of getting raped, women should shit themselves, act mentally challenged, or act like they're being possessed by a demon. Keep in mind, this isn't a shitpost. This isn't a joke. Greg genuinely believed this worked, and that this was obvious.
Some of the world's biggest problems, there are simple solutions. One of them is public perversion. Public perversion to the extent of individuals walking by girls wearing skirts and videotaping the goods. Girls, do you want to wear your skirt in public without feeling vulnerable, without having to worry about whether some sicko is going to try to take a peek? Simple solutions. Shorts. Wear shorts underneath your skirt. Sports shorts. They're comfortable. They cover your panties, preventing them from being exposed to the open air. And gosh darn it, I can almost guarantee you will feel that sense of security you've been lacking. I support skirts so long as you are secure.
As you can probably tell, Greg's narcissistic disorder is painfully obvious. He talks down to women, talking to them like he just brought them an innovative creation that fixes all of our problems. I don't think if I can keep reading this script considering the fact he pisses me the fuck off and I'm trying to keep this professional. In January 2005, Greg joined the Air Force, and he asks Sky to marry him. She says yes. In June of the same year, Greg quits the survival training due to not being able to kill a rabbit, which was part of his training. In the videos where he talks about it, he acts above the law and his superiors, following the superiority complex he appears to have. In July, Greg joined the security forces. Greg and Sky marry in August. Another trigger warning for suicide. Watch at your own risk. On November 14th, Greg pretends to kill himself just to leave the military. He constantly mentions he got an honorable discharge, though in 2017, it was revealed he actually received a general discharge. In 2009, Greg begins his controversial Onision Speaks channel, in which he rates underage girls, talks about issues like cutting, depression, talks about black people and shits on them for their hairstyle, makes rape jokes, and is just a shit person in general, excusing his disgusting behavior as comedy, though he's obviously not funny.
No, it can strip your hair if you're using the wrong product. Crappy, hacky products, and then they say, well, I guess nothing will work. And that is absolutely stupid. So congratulations, now your hair is dirtier and stinks more because you can't competently take care of your own hair. Clean your hair. See, this is shampoo here. And if you scroll down, it says daily cleaning. Daily, which means you can wash your hair daily. The secret is to not use harsh shampoo. Oh my god, is that exactly what I've been saying this whole time? It's almost like white boy is right. A lot of black people don't wash their hair because it's too much work. I've seen that again and again. They don't do it because you can't do it. Instead, they do it because it's time consuming. So it's dirtier by choice.
In June of 2010, Greg threatens to divorce Sky. On December 2nd, a 17-year-old Canadian singer known as Shiloh emails Greg asking for relationship advice. And with that, the plot of our second episode comes to light. The Shiloh Saga.